Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
Hi, Monica, and welcome to the Sound of Money. And can you believe it? This is the 100th episode.
This is fantastic. Congratulations. I know
Thank
it
you.
takes a lot to get there. It's almost like an SIP. You just have to keep doing it.
Absolutely, very well put. Thank you so much. So, Monica, I have a couple of questions for you on this very special podcast. The one is about your own journey in terms of the financial inclusion journey you have lived through. Uh, what's the biggest change you've seen maybe in these last few years in terms of India's financial inclusion landscape? And where do you see the biggest opportunities, Monica?
The country is so large that, when you start slicing it, some parts of the population don't know the difference between a savings deposit and a fixed deposit. Honestly, I was in MNC recently, and
Hmm.
and they are hesitant to even ask. And this was an all women's group. They were hesitant to ask basic questions, and I just said it doesn't matter if you don't know, you don't know. No one's judging you. So literally, it's not even people in the villages, but even people living in Mumbai and Bangalore and Delhi. And I have come across this so often where they don't know the difference between a savings and a fixed deposit. And then you have people who are marvelously implementing concepts that we talk about: asset allocation, diversification, rebalancing, emergency funds, life insurance, medical insurance. So they are going by the book and they are constructing very stable portfolios. They are really following the rules and doing all the right things. They are not blinking when markets are down. They are just
Yeah.
looking at their debt allocation and saying, look, I'm fine. I can let my equity remain. So I think this gap is very, very large. And honestly, I feel that the more work we do on the basic side, the better it
Yeah.
is. Because I feel on the complex side, there are a lot of people with a lot of
Mm.
ideas, with a lot of jargon, who are able to service the HNI, for example. But
True.
when it comes to just building confidence of
Yeah.
explaining to somebody why even banks give interest, they're not even
Mm.
willing to ask that because they think they'll be judged. So I think that
Yeah.
opportunity is there, and it's not just in the villages. It is
Yeah.
sitting here with us in the big
True.
cities,
Mm.
especially among the women, where
Yeah.
we need to really build capacity right from the beginning. So you understand, in my work, I can very easily jargonize whatever I do. Okay, I know more
Agree.
jargon than the other guys. But I think the idea is to keep it as accessible, as simple as possible,
Mm.
so that an average person will say, look, you know what, I understand. It's not that difficult. I can do this. I think this is a
Mm.
journey which I've been on.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, what's that one lesson, Monica, you'd like to share with our audiences, right? Given your experience in personal finance, and even before that, as a journalist, right? I kind of very much recall you coming on NDTV,
Yeah,
and that's where your journey also started. And I connected with you, and especially started investing in mutual funds myself. So,
wonderful. So one lesson throughout has been that you really have to build capacity from ground up. Just telling
mhm.
people words like asset allocation, diversification means nothing to them. So
Yeah.
the hard work has to be done in making people understand why they are doing what they are doing, why it's important, and also not to give them easy solutions. For
Mm.
example, I will never give 5 funds you can invest in. I'll not do
Yeah.
that. I want them to choose. So even in Let's Talk Mutual Funds, I stop short at recommending fund
Yeah.
names. I
Right.
want them to do the work so they can own the decision. So
Yeah.
it's the only lesson is you have to keep building this capacity, and at least my intention has been to allow them to be free so they don't have to come back to me. The
Yeah.
idea is to
Agree.
make them fly so they don't have
Yeah.
to keep coming back. So I know there's a lot of people who want this repeat. Now you ask me what next. Now you ask me what next. I think
Yeah.
the idea is to set them free so that they take ownership.
True.
And I will
Yeah.
tell you a very funny anecdote. Somebody had written to me on my own podcast, he's implemented let's talk money, let's talk mutual funds, just beautifully.
Okay.
So he goes to a financial planner and he's in Bangalore. The
Uh-huh.
financial planner looks at his portfolio and says, "Why have you come to me? You're fine, absolutely."
Yeah, that's
So I
that's a
think,
fantastic proof in the pudding, right? Eating the
yeah,
pudding,
that's
right?
just those are the moments you
Completely.
live for, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You have been attending a lot of women conferences. Apart from the Women's International Day, otherwise you've been invited to colleges, a lot of women forums and offices. How can women take control of their finances, and any particular common mistakes that you've found out when having these conversations with them?
The recurring theme is, I have no head for numbers. I don't understand it. This is beyond me.
Mm,
I can't do this. And this is women who are lawyers, pilots,
yeah,
um, scientists. You
yeah.
can name the
Even money
profession.
managers for the corporates, but not finding
Yes,
their time for their own
yes,
self, right?
yes. High frequency bond traders. But when it comes to their own finances, that confidence is simply missing. They're simply unable, they're frozen.
Mm,
So it's this idea that I'm not really supposed to be doing this, and this is
yeah,
too tough.
yeah.
So that mindset, I really like to break through. I like
Mm,
to break through that to say, look, it's not that difficult. You don't need to start with derivatives. You don't really need to start with equity.
mm,
You can, if you're doing fixed deposits, at least it's a beginning. That's fine. Don't be afraid of saying it's fixed deposits. It's fine. At
yeah.
least you're doing something. So I think just taking them step by step onwards onto that journey is the whole idea. But really,
Mm.
it's this mind block that I don't know. It's too tough.
Can imagine. Yeah, yeah. Three books. Let's talk mutual funds. Let's talk money. Let's talk legacy. You've kind of covered that entire, microcosm of finance in these three books. What really inspired you, and now though it has come in a couple of other languages. What's been the feedback, and of course, what really inspires you to so much to talk about personal finance?
So Let's Talk Money is 2018, and now I think it's in 7 languages: English, Hindi, Punjabi, Marathi, Malayalam,
Yeah,
Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu is coming soon. So it'll
yeah.
be
I
now.
I I I also remember you putting a question on LinkedIn. What should I name it in Marathi? I too
Yeah.
contributed for a
Okay.
comment.
Okay, great. And then mutual fund is already in English, Hindi, Marathi, and the other translations are coming. Legacy is actually English and Hindi. It's a workbook where you have to
Yeah,
record your financial
yeah.
details. I don't think people really understood the book. They wanted to read something, but I gave them a workbook. So
Hmm,
that I think it didn't land too well, but that's fine.
hmm. Yeah,
Money was written essentially because I was a journalist for almost 20 years in the personal finance space. And again, I would get invited to talk very often. And
hmm,
at the end of the session, they would say, when we hear you, we understand, but there's nothing else to read in the manner that you are speaking to us. So,
yeah,
is there a book that you have? So, it really came from the feedback where they didn't have a book written which they could completely identify with, which was easy, which
yeah,
was simple, which led
yeah.
them step by step. So that really was the motivation behind Let's Talk Money. And then
Hmm,
mutual fund was almost a consequence because I had left a throwaway line in the book saying that, oh, this chapter is so long on mutual funds, maybe I need a book. And I
yeah,
forgot about it. Then readers kept reminding me, you had said mutual fund book, where is it? So luckily, the book is almost like a textbook because it
yeah,
takes you through what they are, why, what the
yeah,
regulation is, and then how you should approach it. So it's really, I've just got deeper and deeper into the space. I think what really motivates me is the impact on the ground.
hmm,
So Let's Talk Money's 2018 book.
yeah.
Until today, I get messages every day, one or two.
Hmm,
Social media, email, I don't know how they get my number sometimes. And
yeah,
they're just sharing their stories. They're telling me how much the book impacted them, how they're today in a better place because of that book. I really think it's really what matters to you, what makes you
yeah,
get up in the morning. For me, it
yeah,
is just this feeling that you've done something which is a little bigger than your small self. We're all very tiny people. So have you been able to use this life to do something which is a little bigger than yourself. So I think that for me is the biggest sense of satisfaction, actually.
Absolutely. There's a small secret I need to share that when
Mm.
I started my Sound of Money in 2021, it had its basic, people watching, likes, comments, etc. But the moment I put up your podcast interview, the likes shot up to 1,000 plus. That was the first episode I had 1,000 plus likes. But it's not about likes, but the comments and the visibility the podcast got. And now we are into its 100th episode. I'm so glad that you are on this episode,
Oh, no,
Monica.
absolutely. See, I honestly, I get called for a lot of podcasts, but when you see the sincerity behind something, and now I'm old enough to sense where somebody is coming from, then you make time for it. It's just that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Monica, for joining on the
Wonderful.
100 series special. Many, many thanks.
Yeah. We want to see the next 100 and then the next and more.
Sure. God willing. Thank you.
Okay.
And well, with that, we come to the end of this very super special 100 series episode from me, Santosh Sirur, and Monica. Thanks again for joining on The Sound of Money.